gives it to Maravich. Oh, shows it to Boxer. It's Gene White on this sliding miss.
Right place, right time. Bellamy.
There's Hayes, along with Walker 25, 34 Scott, Connie Hawkins 41. And Lanier 16 as Hayes, the Big E.
In a gym just like this one in Clemson, South Carolina, I would dribble in a circle for 3 to 4 to 5 minutes every day to increase my basketball awareness as a dribbler. I wanted to go through all the different dribbles. I wanted to imagine what I could do with the basketball dribbling-wise in a small circle like this one. I would go behind my back, between my legs, in front, sideways, back and forth, whatever I could, because I know that the hand is on different parts of the ball when you dribble it. And that's what this video is about today. It's about making you a more effective dribbler. Now, you can get your basketball, and we can come out here today, and we can start doing our homework together. But not only are we going to learn the basic fundamentals of dribbling, the mechanics of dribbling, but you're going to learn how to do creative fundamentals of dribbling. That's going to make you a much more effective basketball dribbler, especially if you're a playmaker. So let's do our homework. The mechanics of dribbling a basketball. As you can see right now, I have what's called a suction cup on the basketball. You might be thinking, what does this suction cup have to do with dribbling a basketball? Well, the first thing I want to talk about is hand placement on a basketball. And to illustrate it, I wanted to use this suction cup because that is the way the hand is supposed to be placed over the ball. You see, the only thing that should be on the basketball is just like when you shot the basketball. You shot it with your finger pad, your fingertips, the thumb to support the basketball. It's the same way with dribbling. You want to hover your hand over the basketball in this area like this, so it comes up and acts as a suction cup. So when it comes back up off the dribble, it comes up in this area where you can really control it. You can't control the basketball with your palm. If I was to dribble with my palm area, I'm going to lose it. So I want that suction cup. I want to dribble the basketball just like this. Right-handed or left-handed. Making the ball go completely back up into the hand placement. Let's talk about the wrist flex, the wrist snap. What does the wrist have to do with dribbling a basketball? I want to make sure, just like when I shoot the basketball, I'm going to have that good snap of my wrist like this, because that's going to give me backspin on the ball. It's going to give me better control of the basketball, especially when I'm dribbling it. So I want that wrist snap. I want that snap of the wrist when I'm dribbling the basketball. Now, I'm going to do this in kind of slow motion for you so you can understand and you can see this wrist snap. Now, when I snap my wrist, you can see there's a slight backspin on the ball. The reason there's a slight backspin on the ball is because I'm stationary. Now, if I was moving, you wouldn't see that backspin. But whether it's right hand or whether it's left hand, you want to make sure that you have a free wrist. You don't want to have a frozen wrist. You don't want this kind of a wrist when you're dribbling a basketball. But you want it free. You want it to be able to snap. So this is called the wrist snap of dribbling, the wrist flex. We just talked about hand placement on the basketball. So now let's move to the body and see what the correct position is that we should be in when we dribble a basketball. There is a correct way that you should stand when you're dribbling a basketball. Now I'm going to start with the feet and come upwards. Now I'm going to be at about a 45-degree angle with the feet in this position like this. My knees are going to be slightly bent like this. The upper torso of me, my back and so forth, is going to be straight. I don't want to hunch over like this. I want to be straight. My head and eyes should be completely up like this. My head should be up. My shoulders should be back. I should be surveying the court. I should be looking into the front court, seeing the men in their position so that if I'm a playmaker, I can see what's going on in the front court. The ball should be bounced behind the right back foot. So it should be bounced in this position like this. My left arm should be out here for protection. I should use the posterior part of my body also for protection. Against whom? Against the defense. I want to make sure that the back part of me, I'm at a side angle, a 45-degree angle. I don't want to place the ball out in front of me like this because then someone can come and steal it from me. I want to turn sideways like this, 45 degrees, feet pointing outward like this, knees bent, shoulders back, torso up, head and eyes up, the ball back here, and I'm going to start dribbling in this fashion. Left arm out for protection. Now that is the correct way to dribble a basketball. Passing. That's what we're here today to do. How to learn how to pass. I'm going to teach you not only the mechanics of passing, the basic 4 passes, the fundamentals of passing, but I'm also going to teach you today how to do the creative, the more advanced type of pass, the artistic type of pass, the deceptive pass. Now you might be saying, well, hey, I don't have anybody to pass to. I want you to get your ball though. Maybe you're in your garage watching this. Maybe you're in a gym watching this. But you can pass against a wall. You can pass against a post. You can even pass against a backboard. That's how you can pass. You don't need someone, but if you have someone, that'll help. So let's get ready to do our homework on passing. Mastering the basic passes. Now there are 4 basic fundamental passes that you have to learn before you can do any of the behind the back, between the legs, 180 degree around your body, whatever the pass is. You have to first of all learn the basic passes. When I was a young kid, I would throw 200 to 500 passes a day of the 4 basic fundamental passes, which include these passes: the chest pass, the chest bounce pass, the baseball pass, and the overhead pass. Those are your 4 basic passes. Those are the 4 basic fundamental passes you have to learn. Now the first one we're going to teach is called the chest pass. Now it's called the chest pass because it comes from the chest area. I'm going to have it in this area. My elbows are close to my side, just like this. They're close. You don't want your elbows out. If your elbows are out, that means you're going to push the ball. You're going to push it, just like in shooting. Some kids have their elbow out and they push it. They don't become good shooters. Keep your elbows in tight to your body. The hand placement on the ball. My thumbs are evenly spread over the ball. My thumbs are evenly spread over the ball. I have good finger pad control. In other words, I don't want that palm to touch that basketball. I want it on the finger pad as you see it right there, okay? That's the way you want the ball. So you're evenly spaced, you have good rhythm, you're bent knees, you're confident, you're relaxed, and I'm going to step forward when I throw. I'm going to step with my right foot, then I'm going to step with my left foot. So I come in here, let's throw this pass now. I'm going to throw a chest pass from right here. Now, as you can see, look at my follow through. My index fingers are pointed right directly to where I was passing the ball. My thumbs are pointed downward, just like this. I remember my dad, he told me when I was a kid that he came up one time and he said, you see this pea? He says, you never milked a cow, did you? I said, no, Dad, I didn't. He says, well, always remember that when you follow through, these thumbs are down, just like you're milking a cow, you see? Just like you're milking, that's how you milk a cow. If you've never milked one, you go like that, and that's what happens. So remember that your elbows are in like this, you come out and you snap those wrists, snap them, snap, snap, see, snap. And that gives that backspin on the ball. You got to have backspin when you throw that chest pass. So you got it right there. Now, something else we want to do is rhythm. We want to have rhythm when we throw the basketball. Now, when we throw the basketball with rhythm, okay, that means with the feet. See, I'm going to take a step here, I'm going to come back and step there, I'm going to come back and step here, I'm going to come back and step there. So you got good finger pad control, you got good backspin, you got good follow through, those thumbs are down, those index fingers are pointed straight on, you're throwing it from this area right here, your elbows are in tight, and you throw the ball and you want to hit the man anywhere from the waist up to here. Give him a good target. Give him a good target. So that's where you want to do it. Now let's throw a couple. We're right here. We're going straight out, just like this, see? I'm changing air. I'm getting good rhythm. Good rhythm. My elbows are in. Straight out like this. Good follow through. Look at those thumbs. Look at those thumbs down there. Perfect. I used to throw 200 to 500 of these passes a day. A day when I was your age, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. That's what I used to do. I wanted to perfect every pass. That's the chest pass. Remember, the chest pass, the basic first fundamental pass that you have to learn. The chest bounce pass. That's the second part of the fundamental passes that you must learn. It's thrown just like the chest pass, except you're going to throw it at the floor. So it bounces up to the person. Now, you can throw this pass 2 ways, okay? You can throw it with backspin. You want to throw it with backspin. Same as the chest pass, except my target is the floor, and I want the ball to come up right in this area, right in the waist area here. When you catch that ball, don't catch it like this because it'll slip through your hands. Don't have your hands like this. Always turn your hands over. I know kids have been taught to catch the ball like this, but it's wrong. Don't catch the ball like this. Catch the ball with one hand over the other, and you'll never miss it. So when you catch that ball, make sure it's like this. just like this, just like that. Okay, now the chest bounce pass. When you throw it, you want to throw it at that target, elbows are in, you got good rhythm, you got that finger pad control, you got backspin, you got a good follow through. Let's go through it. Look at that follow through. You see that rhythm? You see the knees are bent, my thumbs are down, my index fingers is this way, just like this, and I come back up. I change feet, I go back again, same way, same follow through. You want to do this pass and perfect it. Each pass that you do, you want to do right. Do it right. At my camp in the summer times, I see kids that'll do 3 or 4 right, and then they'll get lazy or bored or something. I know they're not going to be basketball players. If you want to be a basketball player, you got to perfect these basic fundamental passes. So make sure you go just like this. Remember, the bounce pass, it's a great pass to learn how to do. It's just a derivative of the chest pass, and it's a fundamental pass that you have to put into your repertoire. The overhead pass, that's the third basic fundamental pass that I'm going to teach you today. Now the overhead pass is thrown just like the other 2 basic fundamental passes, the chest and the chest bounce. The mechanics are the same. In all 4 of these passes that you're going to learn today, all the mechanics are the same. You have the finger pad control, you have backspin, you have good follow through, you have your elbows in. So when we throw this overhead pass, make sure that your elbows are in, just like this, okay? You don't want them out, because then you're going to be pushing the ball. You want to pass the ball, pass it. So the elbows are there. I got good extension on with my thumbs. They're evenly spaced. It's on finger pad. I'm going to throw that ball just like that. You notice that follow through? That follow through is the same. Notice that backspin? Now look at that. It's the same follow through. See? Remember the cow? It's the same way. Chest pass, chest bounce, overhead. Same follow through. See? Same basic pass. See that nice follow through? It's always the same. The overhead pass, it's a great pass to throw. Remember, have good finger pad control, backspin, follow through. Don't get the ball back in here, in this area here, okay? Make sure your elbows are in tight and they're not out, but they're in tight to your head. You have a good open window right here to throw the pass. Make sure that you throw it. You can throw it 2 ways. You can throw it with backspin, or you can throw a dead ball. I can throw a dead ball here the same way. See? Dead ball. The best overhead passer I ever knew was a guy who played in the NBA, and his name was Wes Unseld. He used to, in practice, he would take the basketball, he would throw it up against the board, jump up, turn around, and fire an overhead pass and hit the other backboard 6 to 7 out of 10 times. He was the best outlet passer I've ever seen that ever played the game of basketball. But he was a great overhead passer. The reason was because he practiced and practiced and practiced. Okay? So remember, when you do the overhead pass, practice it. The 4th of the basic fundamental passes is called the baseball pass. Now the baseball pass is a good pass. You can use it in a lot of ways. Mostly use it when you see someone breaking for the basket and you can throw a long pass, and it's called the baseball pass. But the mistake that most kids make is they take this pass and they take it way back here when they throw it. You don't want to take it way back here, because what happens? If I take it way back here and I throw that ball, you're going to get this spin on the ball. It's going to curve on you and you're not going to have control. Plus the fact you always use that left hand. Of course, if you're left-handed, then you always use your right hand. You use that for protection. Hey, maybe at the last second I see a defender come into the pitcher and I want to stop the ball. I don't want to throw it, so I can bring it back. If you just stand here like this and throw the ball, hey, you're not going to be able to bring it back. The defensive man is going to steal it. And then you're going to see a guy get off the bench and go to the scores table. And you're going to be sitting on the pine. So be sure that you throw it from this angle. Look, you can throw the baseball pass from right behind the ear. I can throw the baseball pass the length of the court from right here. Okay? If you can throw it to half court, that's a good pass for you to throw. But just from right here, you don't have to take it way back, from right here. Okay? Keep this left arm up, keep it there like this, and throw it straight out. There's that thumb. Look at that thumb. Look at that follow through. the follow-through is the same in every basic pass, okay? It's got backspin, it's got good finger pad control, it's got good follow-through, okay? Let's try it again. I'm here, and I'm going to step out with my left leg. Step out with my left leg, just like this. Have good rhythm. You got to have rhythm when you throw the basketball. When you pass it, you got to have rhythm, okay? So it's straight out like this. You get it back. Now you change over. Your right leg's in front. Here's the left hand right here. If you do it from this side, you got to do it from the opposite side. So you're here, back, straight. There's the thumb. Straight out. See the backspin on the ball? Snap that wrist. See? Snap that wrist. Have to give that backspin on the ball. Same way, straight out. The baseball pass. It's the fourth pass in the basic fundamental passes. I used to throw all four of these passes at least 500 times a day when I was a small kid, between 7 and 14 years of age. It's something that you have to do. You have to learn the basics first. So I hope you will do your homework with these fundamental passes. This empty gym here reminds me so much of a gym I grew up in Clemson, South Carolina. I literally spent thousands upon thousands of hours in a gym just like this. The only real sounds I ever heard was the cracking of the floor, or the echoes of the rafters, or maybe just the ball hitting the rim or against the backboard. It was an exciting time of my life. And I'm here today. The purpose of this video is to teach you how to shoot. I've divided it up into 3 sections. First of all is the mechanics of shooting a basketball, the fundamental part of it. The second part is, of course, the psychology of shooting a basketball. And the third part is the application of the skills of shooting a basketball. Let's get right into it. First of all, where does the ball sit? Well, for so long, and still today, people say that the ball should be on your fingertips. But if I had the ball on my fingertips, this is where it would be. I don't think you've seen too many people shoot the basketball like this. But the correct way where the ball should sit, first of all, is on the pad of the hand. And then the ball is also going to rest on the fingers themselves. So the ball rests on the finger pad. The finger pad, whether you're right-handed or whether you're left-handed. It doesn't matter. It's going to sit on the fingers and come down to the pad. One thing you want is not to have the palm area touching the ball. You want this to be completely open and empty of the basketball. Why? Well, there's a simple illustration of this. If I took this basketball and placed it in my palm and moved my palm back and forth, you can see the basketball falls out. But if I move it up on the finger pads, on my fingers, on the pad, move it back and forth, you can see that I have control of the basketball. And this is what happens. You want the ball on the fingers, the pad, making sure the palm is not on the basketball at all. The second part is the hand. Where should the hand be placed on the basketball? Well, the meatier portion of the hand, the back of the hand, should be placed right in the center of the basketball. But the one finger that shoots the basketball, and 98% of shooters today, whether you're playing in the high school level, junior high level, college level, or the NBA, they normally shoot with their index finger. Now, how do I know that? Well, whichever finger is in the center of the basketball, that's the last finger that the ball is going to roll off on. Now, how does that happen? Well, let me show you what happens when a ball rolls off and you get ready to shoot. In slow motion, as you can see me doing here, the first thing that comes off is the thumb, and then there's the little finger, then this finger, then, of course, the middle finger, and the last finger off the basketball is your index or your forefinger. The reason is no matter where I put my finger, it's in the center of the basketball, this forefinger. When you place your hand behind the basketball, make sure that this meaty portion of your hand, from your knuckles back to your wrist, are in the center of the basketball. Then this forefinger, as you can see, this forefinger is in the center. It's a straight angle. But you can see the rest of my fingers are at a slight angle to the right. That's what happens. Your hand is slightly in a degree to the right, maybe 5 or 10 degrees to the right. But the center of my hand, from the knuckles back, is straight on the ball with this finger. So when I release it, it goes off with this finger. Next thing we want to talk about is the elbow. How is the elbow and the arm supposed to look? Well, it's supposed to look like this, straight. It should be perpendicular to the rim. The rim sits in a horizontal fashion. The arm sits in a vertical fashion. So we want the elbow to be perpendicular to the rim, just like a T. We want to form a T when we have the basketball in this area right here. Now, what happens? I've seen so many kids, most of them, they always have their elbow out like this to shoot the basketball. The reason for this is when they grow up, they take too many shots that are too far for themselves. And they don't really learn the mechanics of shooting. They start pushing the basketball. They don't shoot the basketball. So what you want is you want the elbows straight like this. Here's what happens. If I move my elbow out like this, you can see that just by turning my hand on the basketball, my elbow will go out. When your elbow is straight, your hand is going to be a slightly 5 to 10 degrees to the right on the basketball, and your forefinger is going to be in the center. Let's go into this, the left hand. Now, of course, where should the left hand be on the basketball? It really depends upon your own comfortability as far as shooting the basketball. When I shoot the basketball, I like it right here. But some people will have their hand up here. Some will have it a little bit further under. But remember this about the left hand. The left hand basically does not do the shooting. The left hand basically guides the basketball, and you should not have the basketball in the left hand in a firm grip. It should just be sitting there. If I let go of my left hand right now, watch what happens. The ball should fall out. I don't want to grab the ball very hard with the left hand at all. So you'll be able to find out where that left hand should go just by when you shoot the basketball. Now let's look at the wrist. The wrist is how you get the backspin on the ball. We're going to talk about backspin. First of all, how do I get backspin? Well, I get that. As you can see my wrist and my hand area right here, you can see my hand is at a flat angle. And this is really where the ball should sit on the hand and on the wrist area. It should be a flat angle so that when you release the basketball, when you release it, you have what's called the wrist flex or the wrist snap. It's just like this. This is what happens. And when you snap your wrist like this, when you snap your wrist like that, you will get what's called backspin. The backspin will come on the basketball. So wrist snap, wrist flex is very important. You have to know how to snap your wrist. Some guys can't get backspin because of the fact that they just have this Frankenstein type of approach in shooting and releasing the basketball. So make sure that you're very relaxed when you snap that wrist. The next thing we want to talk about is the gun barrel. Now, the gun barrel is from the ball all the way down to the shoulder. That's what shoots the basketball. Your arm is what shoots the basketball. So when I shoot the basketball and I release it, I have what's called the gun barrel. It goes all the way to the tip of my finger right here. That's where it goes from that point on. Now, when I shoot the basketball, when I release it, I want to call what's called the follow-through freeze. Literally, if I could just wrap my finger, that index finger, around the center part of that rim, right in the front of that rim, right in the front of this rim right here, just taking that finger like this. So when I release the ball, I want that hand to be straight out, and I want to hold that hand up at least 1,000 count. I would say at least 1 second to hold it up. Because if you don't hold it up, that's how you're going to get your shots to fall short, they're going to fall long, or anything else. It's really in this gun barrel approach that when you release the ball and you follow through and you freeze, when you freeze your arm up here, you're going to get good follow through, and wherever your arm goes, that's where the ball goes. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is, of course, the target. Now, the target, of course, is the rim. Now, I want to look directly at the rim. I want to look at the front of the rim. And as you can see, that rim is divided up, it's 360 degrees. It's a center. It's a circle. And if I can put in my mind that just to divide that up and just come to the front of that rim when I shoot the basketball, no matter where I shoot from any area of the court, I look directly at the front of that rim. And that's my target. Because you see, when someone does follow the ball, when they do release it, as I get ready to release this ball right here, you can see if I was to just follow the ball, then I'd have to go like this. Watch. And then release it. Well, nobody can shoot like that because you're not looking at the rim. So what happens is this. When someone does follow the ball, they're here, and they see the rim, then they release it. When they've released the ball, then they start following it. The arc of the ball, or the arch of the ball, some coaches call it arch, some coaches call it arc. But the thing about it is, it's the curvature of the ball when you shoot it. In other words, the higher the arc, I believe the less degree of mistakes that you will have when you shoot the basketball. Some people shoot a flatter arc. They may shoot the ball straight on to the rim, barely getting over the front of it. Other people shoot a real high arc. And it literally, when you shoot, the higher the arc you shoot, what happens is this. The ball, when it hits the rim, will have a better opportunity for your offensive players to get the rebound and to put it back in. The flatter the arc, when it does hit the rim, it's going to come flying way out, and it's really going to give an opportunity to the other team to fast break on you. So when you shoot the basketball, you want it to be able to hang on the rim. If you do miss it, make sure it hangs on the rim, because if it hangs on the rim, you're going to get some of your offensive players, your centers and your forwards are going to rebound it and lay it back in, and they're going to like you for that. So be sure that when you shoot the basketball, that you shoot with enough arc on the basketball that it's going to hang the ball closely to the rim. Mechanics of shooting. Let me go over those again one more time for you. First of all is finger pad control. Secondly, make sure that the hand is directly behind the ball. Thirdly, always have your elbow straight. Fourth, make sure that the left hand is there just to support the basketball, but don't hold it there real firm. Fifthly, wrist flex, the snapping of the wrist, which will give you backspin. Sixth, the gun barrel approach. Wherever you shoot the basketball, that's where the arm goes. 7, the follow-through freeze. Make sure that when you shoot it, that you freeze your arm for at least 1 second. 8, the target should be the front of the rim. 9, always develop the proper arc or proper arch when you shoot the basketball. 10, learn to hang the ball close to the rim. One of the most important aspects of shooting a basketball is what I call the open window technique. Now, what does that mean? Well, let me explain it to you. Both eyes have to be on the front of the rim. And what most mistakes that are made by young people, even people that are in college, even players that are in the NBA, some of them are called one-eyed shooters. Now, what does that mean, being a one-eyed shooter? Well, here's what happens. If their arm is right here, if I was to close my left eye right now, all my right eye sees is my wrist. So I really only have one eye that's on the target. My other eye is on my wrist. So what happens when you have this one-eyed perception, as it might say? Here's what happens. Sometime get a friend of yours and ask him to do this little game. And what it is just have your friend close one eye and have your friend start throwing you some change and see if you can catch it. I caught that one. I caught that one. I missed that. I missed that. Now what happens when you shoot, when you throw the change into someone, I have good direction with my eye. If you've ever shot pool in your lifetime, you can line up the ball one behind the other with one eye. You have good direction, but you have no depth. Now what is depth perception? Depth perception is the ability to conceive how far you are from a certain object. When I shoot the basketball, I must have both eyes on the target. If I only have one eye, that's how most of you, when you shoot the basketball, you either fall short or you go real long and it might come off the board real hard. So what you want to do is this. Instead of having your arm here, just move it off like this, maybe 2 inches. That's all you have to do. Maybe an inch, maybe an inch and a half, but the maximum is 2 inches. Your elbow is straight. Here I have both eyes on the target. I have an open window, an open viewing to the target to where I am shooting the basketball. So remember, the thing that you want is don't have your arm here, but just move it over so that you have both eyes on the target.